Hello YouTubers. Well, I'm back in Yucatan at my house in Consacab, and as is my custom, I like to do an assessment video just to see where things are, mainly how my plants are growing and my fruit trees. So I'll do a quick tour here. Of course, that's my mango tree. That's probably going to have to come out when we do the carport. Going to need a covered place to park the car. And this is my mandarin tree. We've had a real problem with the birds eating the mandarin before we can get to them. And as an example, there's one right there that one of them got to. It was just turning day before yesterday, and I thought, great, I'm going to get one, get to sample one. I haven't had one off this tree yet. So anyway, what I did was I have some shopping bags, and I covered the fruit with the bags to protect them in hopes that before I leave I will be able to enjoy some of the fruit. These are papaya trees from seeds that came from Hawaii, and they're a strawberry papaya, and they're not growing very well here. I'm going to talk to my gardener and see if he thinks we can possibly move them. But the stalks on these things are actually pretty good size, so I think they don't move very well. However, over here, while I'm on the subject of the papaya, here is a tree that he planted at the same time, and it's about 6 feet tall, and it's even got papayas on it. So of course I won't get to enjoy those while I'm here this trip, but he can enjoy them and let me know if they taste different, because I don't really like the taste of papaya that we can buy in the States. Interesting note, 3 years ago I purchased an avocado tree, and it's the big green kind. Don't know the name of them. And the tree, when I bought it, was about 6 feet tall. And when I was here in February, the tree was about 10 feet tall. And now I get here, and the tree, I'm guessing, is about 20-25 feet tall. And my gardener did send me some photos of the avocados he took off of it, and they're quite large, and he said they were tasty. So of course, these are my bananas. I believe this variety here is a plantain, and of course we've got one that's ready to cut down and remove. And then there's another one right there that should bear fruit within the next 6 months. And then I'm not sure what what variety these are. This is my mango tree that produces the large mangoes, and as opposed to the Atolfo or yellow ones. And it was blown down in a hurricane in probably 87 or 88. And when we took over management of the property, I had my gardener build a wall around the root ball and then cover it in with some good dirt. And the thing this past year produced a lot of really nice large mangoes. This is a variety of orange that my gardener planted. I'm not sure what it is. Looks like he's found a place to put the rocks that I asked him to gather up around here. This is I think it's a sour orange which you use for making ceviche. And I'll just keep walking. This is my lime tree, and it's covered with limes right now, and it's kind of past the season, so they're starting to fall off, and you can see them here on the ground everywhere. So this is one of a dozen coconuts that we harvested 7 years ago from the beach, a beach house. And I brought the coconuts back. They had sprouted either a flag or put down a root in the sand where we found them. And I brought them and asked my gardener to plant them, which he did. And now I'm going to see if I can turn the camera around, and just to give you an idea of the height of the coconuts. So right now they're, as you can see, about 6 feet off the ground. Of course, the tree will grow. They'll be higher. This tree is ancient. Nobody seems to know how old it is. It's a ciruela, and it produces a fruit about the size of a small plum. It's very juicy and tasty, and I have been here when the fruit matured, and they taste pretty good. This is a plumeria that I've got a stem off of somebody's tree and planted it, and it's doing pretty well. It's been in the ground in this location about 4 years. One thing we do is we kind of move our banana grove around, and so that we can harvest the pups and move them to where we want to have them grow. I'll see if I can get out over here. If you'll look over against the house, you'll see I asked my gardener to plant 2 of them along the back of the house, which he's done, and they're doing pretty well. Gonna need a little bit more water than what he's giving them right now. But this is another lime tree, same variety, and it's having a hard time because of this Ramon, and I'm going to see about getting that tree removed. It's on the other side of the fence, but it's on my side of the fence. I think there's one on the other side as well. The problem is most of the guys here are not professionals, and they don't have the equipment to take it down. So what they do is they just cut the limbs and let them fall where they may. And the problem with doing that is that it ends up destroying whatever's on the ground below it. And I had them do that with another tree that I have. So more coconuts. This is part of the dozen. And I do have, let me see if I can get back over here. This is a manzanita, one of the little small bananas. We call them macho bananas here. And I've had them, and they're really good. This is the guanabana that I planted last February, and it's doing real well where it's located, so I'm happy about that. And it's in some good soil, and my gardener's been giving it fertilizer. So that big tree back over there is a sapota de chicle, and it's really causing me problems here because it's shading an area where I would really like to have things growing. Back there's a spindly little grapefruit tree. That's what that is right there. And it's just not doing well at all because of the shade from the coconuts and the bananas and the sapote. So moving along, all of the coconuts were planted at the same time, so it's really interesting the different growth rates that they have. You can see the height of these trees vary anywhere from the height of the coconuts vary anywhere from about 16 to 20 to 10 or 11 feet. And then this one looks here, what's that, about 14 feet, I guess, up there. And then that one there is about 8 or 9 feet. No, they're higher. So something my gardener usually does is harvest coconuts and then juices them and puts them in the refrigerator for me. This is a citrus right here. I'm not sure what it is. And these are my Atolfo mango trees. There's 3 there. There's 2 back there behind the citrus. And then there's one right there. All really big, immense, mature trees. So now here's for the great story. In February when I was here, I showed up and this tree was here planted. And I asked my gardener what it was, and he said, well, I don't know. I dug up a sprout from my yard and planted it here, and here it is. So I agreed with him that it was a pretty little tree and looked like it's going to offer some nice shade. But then, upon closer inspection, I looked and noticed that there were fruit hanging on the tree. And I immediately, of course, recognized it as starfruit. And they were green, and they did not ripen before I left. I did try to eat one, but now, if you'll look, it's got blossoms all over it, way up high. There's fruit. There's fruit there. There's mature fruit over there. I've already picked 2 of them this morning to eat. There's those and those new babies right there. And these. And then if you'll look at this I think is pretty cool. They're growing almost like grapes. And I didn't know they did that. And then there's more there. And then there's some new ones there. I hope this isn't boring, but I'm excited to see all this. So that's my starfruit. And looks like a lot of people are going to be able to enjoy those as they ripen. Another story is when we got the house. This is a guanabana, and the tree was eaten up with ants, and we were really, I was fighting to save the tree, and we tried a lot of different things. And this was probably 7-8 years ago. And of course I pruned it back. I cut the top where the ants were getting into it, and they just kept working their way down. But it started producing a little bit of new growth. And a lot of times that's a sign of stress on the tree. But in February, I noticed a few blossoms on the tree. And here you can see there's some blossoms there, and it's got a few random blossoms here and there, but I didn't know if they were going to make guanabana or not. But now, as I'm looking at this tree, I'm looking and there's all kinds of new blossoms on the tree. And they go up high and they're down low, and I mean they're really low. So there's going to be another nice harvest. But what was really cool about me having a gardener here is that he harvested the guanabana and a lot of the mangoes, because I love mangoes, and his wife peeled them and put them in freezer bags and put them in my freezer. And so when I got here this time, I had 4 bags of mangoes and 2 bags of guanabana, and I've eaten 1 bag of the mangoes, and the guanabana I thawed out last night, and I'm going to be enjoying it today. So here's my mango grove right here. And day before yesterday we went out and there's an abandoned pitaya orchard, and so we harvested a couple of the stems from the pitaya and planted them here along the wall. I just don't know if they're going to get enough sun here. We'll see. There's always places to get pitaya cuttings. So that's I guess I'll walk around front like I did yesterday. I already shot this video once, but I had the phone vertical instead of horizontal, and of course it gives that weird black on either side. So I decided to reshoot it. I'm going to push that back so the wind doesn't catch it and lock me out. Actually, I think I'm going to unlock the gates, so just in case. Okay, so here's my street, and here's our house, and it's changed quite a bit since we took over the management of it, ownership. One thing we did was we built these planter boxes out here, and I planted some princess palms, and this one had gotten up to be pretty good height, and my gardener told me that lightning hit it. So we'll figure out something else, because the first one I planted, it got about 8 feet tall and somebody stole it. And I just don't think the soil's deep enough in these boxes for something that big. This looks like, it can't be a pecan because they don't, no, I don't know what it is, but it's not a pecan. I'll ask my gardener and have him get it out. So when we got the house, it actually stopped right here where this meter is, and so all of this part here is our bathroom. It's new, and it's from block, but this is mamposteria, which is basically field stone, like the walls around the property, and then they stucco them. And we had the doors made, and I had this balcon built, and a local welder welded up the protectores for me, and I built that had them build that little thing over it. One thing about Mexico is they don't really expect the property owners to do anything. They want you to hire people to do it, and they appreciate it. So anyway, I think that's about concludes our video, and I appreciate you guys for watching.